Welcome to part 2 of my 3-part video series on how to build a website using AI. In part 1, we built and hosted a website for free using Replit. But let's be real, a website isn't really yours until you're running it on your own domain. In this video, I'll show you step by step how to take the website that we built in part 1 and connect it to a custom domain, specifically Squarespace, without paying for any hosting. By the end of this video, your static website will be live at your particular domain. All right, let's get to it. All right, the first thing we want to do is pull up our website on Replit. And at the top right, there's this icon that pulls up the navigation on the right side. These are all of the files. In our particular case, I want to go ahead and export all of these files. So in order to do that, I press the 3-dot icon on the top right and click on download as a zip. In my particular case, I want to save it and open it up using VS Code. And the reason I love using this IDE is because it comes with GitHub Copilot, and you can use that for free or on a paid subscription. And as you can see with GitHub Copilot, it's another AI tool, and I'm easily able to interact with it. And in this case, I want to tell it, hey, analyze this code base and help me come up with what commands I need to run in order to build this tool and be able to package it in a way that I'm able to then take it and give it to Google Cloud to be able to host this. This is incredibly valuable, even if you are technical, but if you're not, it's even more valuable because you no longer have to take the time to really study and learn how to do all these commands. The AI can guide you. And I sometimes do prefer that, folks. The AI could, in theory, act on these commands as well, but I prefer it to guide you because you learn along the way as well, and you're in 100% control. So in this particular case, it tells me everything I have to do. And so I'm going to go over to my VS Code, open up a brand new terminal, as you see here. And the specific type of terminal I want to use is git bash for now. And once this opens up, I'm going to go ahead and start running these commands. So let's start by making sure we're in the right location. So I ran ls. That looks good. That's where we want to be. And then from here, I'm going to run npm-i, which stands for install. And I fast forward through that. That took quite a bit of time. But once you finish that, then the next command to run is npm run build. And same thing, this does take quite a bit of time for it to finish. And if you want to understand what these commands are doing, again, that's the power of having the AI right in this environment alongside with you, because you can ask it these things. But again, if you're working on the free tier, you'll only have so many credits. And if you run out of them, just jump over to Google Gemini and use their AI model as well. Okay, so now we can see here in the directory, we see a dist, which stands for distribution, and inside it, we see a public directory. It's everything inside of this directory that we're going to want to take and put into our storage where we're going to host our solution. And for that, I go to Google Cloud Console. And if you don't have an account, go ahead and just create one. It's free. You do need to provide to it a credit card, but you get $300 of free credits. And for the use that we're going to be using it, we basically use only 20 cents a month. So you're really not going to be paying anything for a very, very, very long time. This is what the console looks like. Again, if you're not familiar with this, it might be a little overwhelming, but not to worry. Just follow along with me step by step along the way. What we want to do is create what's called a Google bucket. So I type in bucket at the top, find the option I'm looking for. I find this view and I click create a bucket. Now, this is important. For this particular name, you want to put in www. The name of your domain you want to use. This is assuming you already have a domain set up. Next, we've got the location type. So keep this in multi-region just because it's so inexpensive and we're all only uploading just a handful of files. The default class, keep this as standard as well. Go ahead and keep all the other default settings, but be sure to disable this option here. You don't want to enforce public access prevention on this bucket because it's a public-facing website. So be sure to uncheck that setting. Then when we click continue, you can keep everything else the default and press create. However, as you see here, you're going to get an error when you press create, and that's okay. Just keep this here as is. And I'm going to show you how to fix this. So first thing we're going to want to do is open up a new tab and go to the Google Cloud documentation around domain ownership verification. Once you're on this website, you'll be able to verify your domain. As you see here, I'm on Google Search Console and I can enter in my particular domain. So I'm going to go over to Squarespace where I can just double check what my domain name is and paste it in here and then press continue. What this is going to do is it's going to provide you the instructions on how to verify that you in fact own that domain. In this case, I'm using Squarespace. If you're using another platform, be sure to follow the instructions on how to update the DNS settings using that platform. With Squarespace, all I have to do is click on Manage Domain, and it's going to ask me to log in. So I'm going to skip through this and quickly log in. I'm going to click on the domain I want to configure. And then on the left side, I'm going to click on DNS. And from there, I'm going to go back and copy the value that I got from Google Search Console and go and scroll down to where I can add a new record. Now, you'll once again have to authenticate if you have MFA enabled, but once you're here, go ahead and add the host. The value here is going to be an @ symbol. And then the type value has to be TXT. You can update the time to live, that's what TTL stands for, or you can leave it as default, but the text value is what we pasted in from Google. Then click Save. Once that's done, you can go back and click on Verify. This might take just a few seconds, but you should get a green ownership verified banner as you see here. Okay, now that we verified our domain, we also have to add another entry here called www, and with type CNAME, same thing, the time to live can remain at 4 hours, and the value for that is c.storage.googleapis.com. So that's 2 DNS records that we had to add. And now that we've done that, we can then go back to the Google bucket and finish creating it. And that's what this looks like after we create it. It's empty for now, and I'm going to go ahead and upload the various files that you see here. And in specific, inside of the public, I went ahead and uploaded the 2 files that were in there, but also inside of the public directory, we have the assets folder. Be sure to upload that directory as well. The content you upload might look a little different depending on how you've created your static website, but the important thing here is you must have an index.html. The favicon.png file is the icon that is visualized next to the browser tab or whenever you share the link to someone else that comes up on your text messages. So that's kind of what you want to use as your logo. Once we've created the bucket and uploaded these files, the next thing to do is to go to that bucket and edit its website configuration. And this is important to update this, at least this value here, so that when you type in index.html as the main page suffix. If you don't have an error 404 not found page, not to worry, just leave that blank and go ahead and click Save. Next, we need to change the permissions. So at the top, we're going to click Permissions, and then we're going to click on Add Principal, and then we're going to type in All Users. We're going to select it, and the role that we have to assign here is towards the bottom under Cloud Storage called Storage Object Viewer. What this is going to allow is for all users to be authorized to view this bucket. And that's exactly what we want because the website is public facing. So when you click Save and allow public access, you're going to get this error. Not to worry. Again, just click Close and leave this view as is and open up a new tab, and I'll show you how to fix this. Now, when you open up a new tab and you navigate to the Google Cloud Console, you're going to search for Organization Policies. Once you find it, this is what that's going to look like. And we're going to need to make some changes here. First thing I want to find is at the bottom, we're going to filter all of these policies by domain restricted sharing. And that's going to bring up this particular policy. And so you can see here, it is active right now. So we're going to click the 3 icons, click View, and we can see here, right now, the Manage policy is disabled. It's grayed out, so we can't do it. We need to grant ourselves the permissions to be able to change this policy. So in order to do that, what we want to do is go to the top left of the Google Cloud where it says My First Project. Yours might say something different, but you click on that icon and then you have the option to select a resource. The option you're going to choose is the organization value. In this case, for me, agsquareholdings.com. Once you select that, now you can see the icon on the top left changes to match that value. And then once we're there, we have to go to the IAM setting on the left side. That stands for Identity Access Management. Once we see this page, you can see here my principal or my username has 2 roles assigned to it, Organization Administrator and Organization Policy Administrator. On your end, you're not going to have the Policy Administrator. That's the one we have to add to your own account, using your own account. It's a little bit of a catch-22 moment, but just bear with me, we do have to do this. In order to add that additional role, we're gonna click on the Grant Access button, type in this text field your username, and then assign the role Organization Policy Administrator. You'll see that come up, select it, and then click Save. Once you click Save, you'll be able to see that appear here. Now we can go back to the organization policies that are found in the My First Project resource, as you can see on the top left, and now the Manage Policy icon is enabled for us. Once you have that enabled, you have to click that Manage Policy and go ahead and make sure that it looks just like you see here. Yours is going to look a little differently at first, but what's important here is that the policy source must say override parent's policy. The policy enforcement is merged with parent, and be sure that there are no rules with exception of just one, and that's that the policy value should say allow all. So now with that in place, if we refresh the page, we can now see that that domain restricted sharing policy is now showing as inactive, and that the policy source says override parent's policy. This is exactly what we needed to do. So now we go back to the buckets view. So again, if you don't know how to get to this, just type in buckets at the top and you'll be able to come back to this exact view. And then we can click on permissions. Now, in the past, when we tried doing this, we got that error. So now we're going to try again. We select the all users principal. We find inside of the cloud storage selection, the storage object viewer, and then we click save and allow public access. In the past, this failed, but now it's going to succeed after the changes we made to our organization policies. So with that in place, now we click here and we can see that this domain should now be accessible. So I'm going to copy that exact value, open up my browser, and as we see here, we've got a working website now. Awesome, folks. Your website is now running on your own custom domain, completely separate from Replit and still hosted for free. Now, this is important. If you skipped part 1 or forgot how we generated and structured the site, go back and rewatch it because everything we just deployed depends on that foundation. In part 3, I'll show you how to finish this the right way by enabling SSL and HTTPS so your website is secure, trusted, and ready for users. Before you jump to part 3, please go ahead and like this video to support the series and share it with someone that might benefit from watching it. And lastly, subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any future AI and tech walkthroughs. And be sure to add part 3 to your next watch list. That is the final step.